It's been a minute. So much to share, so much to tell you. My name is Melissa P. Dunn, and I am the host of the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show. This is a movement that I created really in the height of COVID. And at first I started out speaking every single day, sharing things that I know, talking to guests, bringing women on that really could share their heart and their success journey, really at first as a way for me to just remain connected with people. And then it turned into a way for me to share some of my experiences as a marketing expert, as a coach, and then later on as an elected official. And so it's been a journey for me processing how to balance all of the things in my life. So I think the last time I did a episode was really months ago. And so I'm super excited to be back. I'm super excited to create this space, this container where women and the men who love them can really come to as a trusted resource for support that will help you create the life and business of your dreams. And today, we are kicking off season number 3. I don't even know if it's really 3 seasons, but I'm kicking it off anyways. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Fabiola. Thank you for watching. Welcome back. And of course, my number 1 fan, Mommy. Thank you for joining us, Mom. And so, I've really struggled with the idea of doing this show again. Like a lot of you, I have multiple hats that I wear, and this is one of these things that's really just about me pouring into the world. There's no monetary gain in it for me. It's just me showing up, creating a platform for other women to connect and to share their stories, as well as to share some of my stories and some of the lessons that I've learned throughout my journey. Hey, Miss Toya, welcome. I'm so happy to see you. You are one of my OGs, girl, riding with me from day one. So welcome back. To make a long story short, I really struggled with the idea, should I continue to do the show? And the Holy Spirit just really convicted me and said, yes, absolutely. You have medicine on your heart that the world needs to hear. And so this is really me being obedient. So hence season number 3. So drop a comment in the chat, say hello. Hey, Melissa Jane, thanks for joining. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. So let's get to it for season number 3. I really want to share with you a process that I have been using to scale my business, to bring more joy, more happiness into my life. And it's also a process that I have been sharing with my students in my Lauderhill Shine program. Well, maybe not Lauderhill Shine so much, but it's a process that I've been sharing with women whom I love and trust and mentor. Hey, I think somebody is watching from my Women Getting It Done space. So good to see you. Good to see you. So today I'm really going to talk about how to create success with ease and grace. How to create success with ease and grace. This is the topic for today. A lot of time culture tells us that in order for us to be successful in life, we've got to grind. We've got to go out there. We've got to get it done. And truth be told, if you spoke to me 2 years ago, that's exactly what I would have said. I mean, I knew that it's important for you to be a person that is joyful and all of that in order for you to take the action to get the results that you want in your life. I knew that, but I still subscribed to the philosophy that you had to grind, that you had to be super intense and in order for you to create results. And over the last year and a half, specifically, God has been working with me on another way of being. It's been helping me to redefine what success looks like like for me and for him. And so what I'm going to be showing you today is a process that has been revealed to me, a process that I have used in my own life that helped me to literally triple my revenue in my business. Triple my revenue in my business. And I don't know if you guys were watching me from day one, you may have remembered that during the pandemic, I went from pre-pandemic having at least 4 or 5 folks working with me consistently, having lots and lots of accounts, having projects where I am, creating festivals for cities and doing really well, to literally during the pandemic, I made $170 consistently for a couple of months. How my rent got paid, how my light got paid, how I ate food is but God. Okay. And so this process that I'm going to show you is a process that I used to not only rebuild my business, but do it in a way that brought me joy, do it in a way that brought me confidence, that brought me peace of mind while serving as an elected official for a city of 74,000 people, while serving in the community, while creating time to spend, to nurture my relationship with my family. All right. So this is what I'm going to teach you today. But before I do, let me say hello to some folks. All right. Good morning to you. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. So she's saying hi. We all needed to see your beautiful face and spirit this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then Toya is saying ease and grace. Amen. All right, guys. So let's just dive right into it. Okay. So this way that I'm going to show you is called the Dunn Wisdom Way, right? So the Dunn Wisdom Way is a spirit-led framework for life and entrepreneurship that unlocks the power within us to create meaningful, purpose-driven life. This is the Dunn Wisdom Way. Now, I have rebranded the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show. I don't know if you guys know how the name Dunn Wisdom came about, but Dunn is my last name, my father's side, obviously my last name, and Wisdom is the name of my son. When I got married the first time, my ex-husband's last name was Wisdom, and I think that was him. The last name and my son is perhaps the 2 best gifts that came out of that union. And so the name Dunn Wisdom, when I first came up with the name, it was about getting things done, which had been my way of life up until that moment. But then wisdom, which is having the knowledge and the understanding and then applying it so that when you move through the world, you move through in a way that is wise, right? And so the Dunn Wisdom Way really is finding a pathway or a framework that allow you to create the life and the business that you want, but from a spirit-led perspective, from a space of knowing, right? And so I'm going to share with you guys today what that framework looks like. So, y'all, I downloaded my slides right before I came on. So forgive me for it being a little bit skewed and out of place. The marketer inside of me is like, no. But of course, done is absolutely better than perfect. So let me bring them back up again. Okay, there we go. So some basic truths. Number one, before I share with you the framework, number one, I want you to know that we are not alone. We all have a source, whatever that source is for you. For me, the name that I use for my source is God. Some people can say universe, some people can say Allah, some people can say Buddha, whatever that internal spirit-led, spirit-filled part of yourself that's connected to something bigger than you are. Just know that we're not alone, and you can call it whatever it is for you, But just know that we all have a source. And quite frankly, the source of the abundance that we get in the world has nothing to do with whether somebody pays your bill on time. It has nothing to do with whether or not your customers pay their invoice on time, or whether your boss gives you your paycheck on time. No, they are not the source of your abundance. The source from your abundance really comes from the source. Okay. So that's the first basic truth that I want us to agree on right now. The second basic truth is that success is an inside out job. What do I mean by that? Well, think about the iPhone, for example. Before the iPhone came into existence, Steve Jobs had to have the idea. The idea started in his mind first. It began right here. The idea that you have for your business, it started in your mind first, right here, right? And so your mind is like a garden. I'm going to say that again. Your mind is like a garden. What you feed it, how you nurture it, how you manage it, how you allow it to move with and through you is very, very, very important. It really shows where you are, and it really lays the foundation for your growth and for your development. Okay. So that's a really important basic truth for you to understand, is that success is an inside out job. What you say to yourself matters. What you say about yourself matters. How you feel really, really matters. Okay. So success is an inside out job. That's the second basic truth. The third basic truth is that you get to decide for yourself what success looks like, right? For some people, success could look like having a whole bunch of money, living in a huge house, and being traveling the world. And that's okay. That's for them. But the point is, you get to decide for yourself what success looks like for me. Boy, success for me looks like having impact. Success for me looks like allowing God to flow his healing, love, and abundance to me, through me, into the world. Success for me looks like me having a joy-filled life. Success for me looks like me being in service to other people, in service to my community, in service to my family. Success for me looks like me being in a loving, committed marital relationship with a great man who treats me like a queen. That's what success looks like for me. Love and impact and service, right? And you get to decide for yourself what success looks like. And so I encourage you, if you haven't yet figured out what it looks like for you, take some time. If you're watching this on the replay, pause it, take out your journal, and write down what success looks like for you. Now, in my opinion, your success really should be rooted in your core values, but I'm jumping ahead of myself in the story. So that's the third basic truth that I want you to get. Okay. And then the final basic truth here is that we all have creative power. You've heard people say in the past, sticks and stone may break my bones. Well, you know what? The truth is that it can. Your words are powerful. The words that you say out loud to yourself, to other people, to your circumstance, they have the power to create or to destroy. That's why it is so important for us to be mindful of how we show up in the world. And not just how you're verbally speaking, but also what's happening up here. It's so important for us to be mindful of that. So those are the basic truths that I want us to understand, so that now that I'm going to share with you the process, then you'll understand why this then becomes so powerful. All right. So the Dunn Wisdom Way is a powerful process that offers a step-by-step approach to aligning your inner guidance and values while taking inspired actions towards your goal. So in essence, this is how it is illustrated. This is it. It's really simple, guys. And you know what? It actually is so simple that it's hard. It's so simple that it is hard. Okay. So the first part of the process is for you to get connected to source. Get connected to that inner spiritual side of you. Get connected to source. And then the second part of the process is walk the path. And then, of course, get things done. So what do I mean by that specifically? Let's break each step down. And by the way, you guys, please feel free to put your comments in the chat or your questions in the chat. Hey, Sophia, good morning, my love. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. So as I go through this, I want you to put your questions in the chat. And if there's anything that is not clear, please bring it to my attention so that I can really share with you the perspective. All right. So let's talk about connecting to source. Okay. What do I mean by that? Well, you remember in the first basic truth, I said that we're not alone, that we each have source. Well, that is that inner space for you. For me, it's God. And it's a relationship, right? It's a knowingness. So ask for guidance, connect to source and ask for guidance, and then be still to hear what wisdom is offered to you. And, you know, if you do it consistently and you get to the point where you are really asking for guidance, not just in the big things, but in the little day-to-day things, you'll get a life or business map that will serve as a guide that will share with you which way to go, right or left. And guys, I am telling you something that I have been practicing myself that has allowed me to triple my revenue in my business. Triple my revenue. That's allowed me to hire a new staff member. And I'm in the process now of trying to hire more people in my business. This is the process that I've used, that when an idea comes to me, it allows me to check in to make sure that the idea is something that really is coming from source and not my ego, right? So how do I do this? How do I check in? Hey, Barbara, good morning, my love. Good to see you. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. So what do I mean? How do I check in? Oh, good, Sophia. I'm so happy that you're listening. So how do I check in? How do I connect with source? I'm going to tell you a process that I'm using right now. So if you've been watching me for a while, many of you know that one of my big bucket list moments was to run the Miami Marathon. And I did it this January 2023. I completed the Miami Marathon. And so I was gotten the habit of training, of getting up early and running and all of that stuff. But what I wasn't doing was consistently spending time with source, with consistently spending time with God. And so now I have been on this process for the last 2 months consistently. Well, I've been getting up every morning consistently anyways to pray. But now for the last 2 months consistently, I have been driving from the city of Lauderdale to Fort Lauderdale Beach at least 5, if not 7 times a week, to be up with the sunrise, to walk, to spend time, to run. But more importantly, to read and to meditate and to pray and to journal and to create space for God to talk to me. And I ask questions. I even sometimes, you guys, believe it or not, I say, I'm about to write this proposal. How much should I charge? I am about to vote on this particular issue. What is your opinion? How should I vote? After I've collected all of the information and read, how should I vote? How should I move? I am about to have this conversation with somebody that is really contentious, and I don't know what to expect, prepare me. And I have to tell you that when I am still, I get the answer. Sometimes the answer comes from a person. Sometimes the answer comes from a podcast. Sometimes the answer comes from an email or a text. Sometimes the answer just comes from that deep, still place inside of myself that I know this is the right way to go. And my crown tingles when that happens, right? So it is so important for you to connect to source, ask powerful questions, be still enough to hear God's voice, and then document the process. Document the process. All right. So let me check in. All right. Good morning, cousin. Good morning. Good morning. Melissa Jane is saying powerful, powerful. And then Sophia says, yes, yes. I've been doing Fridays at the beach. I'm praying a lot these days for vision and breakthrough. And Sophia, can I tell you, it will come to you. It will come to you. Write everything down. Do you know what I've actually started to do? Because I recognize that I'm with my phone most time than ever. And I spend a lot of time on WhatsApp. So what I've been doing is I have been WhatsApping myself messages and voice notes that remind me of who I am and what is coming to me. And I keep it. And then, I have documentation of the conversation and the promise. You're so welcome, Sophia. My pleasure. My pleasure. So you guys connect to source. Connect to source. And then, of course, walk the path. Now, this part is where I am. I have to tell you, this is a part that God is working with me on because, I'm a doer. If you've worked with me before and you know me, you know that my tagline, getting it done, is not by accident. This is how I've showed up my entire life. I am a doer. I am a planner. I like to develop plans that take me from A to Z on every single action that is a part of a vision, right? I like to plan things out. And so when you take a spirit-led approach to life in business, really, you just got to get clear on the vision. You've got to get clear on your core values. You've got to ask powerful questions. And when you lead like that, there's a certain degree of surrender and submission that's required that is completely new for me, right? The rebranding of the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show, the rebranding of the Uriel Wisdom Foundation, the rebranding of MD Marketing Network into MD Marketing and Consulting were all spirit-led moves. Starting back this show is a spirit-led move, right? And I'm like, how long am I supposed to do this? But the truth is, I don't know the answer. It's not my job to know from A to Z. It's my job to ask powerful questions, to connect to source, to be still enough to hear the answer. And then when I get the answer, I take action. And sometimes you can get step number 1 and you just work step number 1 until step number 2 is revealed. There's a certain level of trust that is required. And it is something that I'm working on. And what's helping me a lot is when I look for God signs or synchronicities along the way that tells me that I'm on the right path. I'm so grateful that I'm so in tune with my body that I can tell based on what's happening in my body. If my crown is tingling, if my lower back is tense, if my throat is closing up, that tells me, really helps me to tap into my emotions, right? And because I know that your emotions say a lot about what's happening up here, I'm able to use these clues to tell me if I'm on the right path or if I'm not on the right path. It really takes building a very strong, intuitive relationship with yourself and with your source, right? So look for God signs that tell you you're on the way, and then stay open, intuitive to the journey. I'm going to share with you something that happened, you guys, that I don't think I've ever said it publicly. I may have said it to one or two people in my life, but I have never said it openly, and I'm going to share it now. So a couple of months ago, I was coming back from a trip, and I get a call in the airport. I was in Washington, D.C., and I got a call from a colleague of mine who also is an elected official working in another state, who says, listen, you're so good at what you do. I want you to come to our state, to our city, a huge city, to do what you're doing in Lauderhill. Come here, do that for our city, and we'll pay you a lot of money. And when she said that to me, I said, no, of course not. I am very loyal to Lauderhill. I'm not going anywhere. The city needs me now more than ever, considering how many seats are going to be open. I'm not going, no. And then I heard Spirit say, pray about it, consider it. And I did. I prayed about it. And I heard, send her your resume. And so I did. And it took me through an entire process. And I have to tell you that if God had said to me, give up everything and move to this other state, I would have done it. I absolutely would have done it, because that's how committed I am to being obedient. And that was hard and a painful process for me, because as I was being obedient and submitting, I was hurting. Right. And you know what opened up for me? It's going through that process that deepened my connection, that deepened my relationship. That's when I really was open to hearing, to asking the real powerful questions. Right. And that's when the whole idea of rebranding came to me. That's when the whole idea of the Dunn Wisdom Way came to me, all because I allowed myself to be broken and then built back up. Because I committed to being obedient. And it is hard, you guys. It is completely hard. So thank God I'm clear. This is where I'm supposed to be. I have a path. I'm in Lauderhill. I've already applied to rerun for my seat. But just know that that's a process that God was taking me through. And because of my willingness to be obedient, it really opened me up in such a way that since that moment, I have won a contract to like a 2-year contract that's really helping me to scale my business. Right. So that's the first thing. Then the last part of the process is you got to get it done. You've got to be willing to take action while you remain connected and true to your core values. And later on, I'll talk to you a little bit more about core values. But if you go back and watch a previous episode, I believe that I did one on core values. And then, of course, embrace a proactive mindset and put the effort into the effort that's required to manifest your goals. And then, of course, nurture the fruits of the spirits. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in future episodes. But that's where we are. That's what's happening. Listen, Barbara, he knows that Lauderhill needs you. Girl, let me tell you, I was like, God, are you really sending me to that cold place? But I'm so happy that it changed. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it is. It is a lot of transparency. I don't think I've ever said that publicly like that, Sophia. So thank you for that. Okay, she says, oh, good. I'm happy that you're feeling blessed. And so here's a question. How do you get out of your own way as a human being to hear and know source and be led by it? I'm still learning that process, but I tell you, it really comes down to trust. It comes down to trust. It comes down to trust. And for me, 2 core truths that help me to really trust is, number 1, knowing that God and I are one, and I'm never, ever, 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 ever alone. And number two, to know that he is the source of all and that everything always works out for my highest good. That gives me a freedom to really live like I know that I am loved, because the truth is I am. When I tell you that during the pandemic, I went from making thousands of dollars a month to making $100 and something a month. And I never went hungry. Do you hear me? I never went hungry. I don't even think my mom, who's watching, knew that I was only getting $100 and something a month. I don't think she knew that. So really, I think you just got to make a decision, man. Are you in or are you out? Are you connected? Do you have the desire to trust? And if so, ask Source for guidance. Ask Source to help you to cultivate that in yourself, and it will happen. It will happen. It's a work in progress for me right now. It is a work in progress for me as we speak. So my mom says, prayer is the source for everything. I am very glad that you have placed the Lord first in everything you do. Thank you, Mom. And then, of course, let's see, we have somebody watching on YouTube as well. And Shannon says, I can get to it. She says, congratulations. Thank you so much. Guys, this episode went by so fast. Thank you so much for celebrating season 3 with me. This is really the first time that I have shared the Dunn Wisdom Way with the world. And I'm really grateful for the participation, and I'm grateful with you co-creating this opportunity with me. So here's what I'm going to say. May God bless you as you go through your day and your week. Remember, be kind and loving to yourself. You absolutely deserve it. And I'll see you back here again next week, Wednesday at 9 a.m. Thank you, guys. Be well.